So I have another box, and this one is a vacuum sealer. It is the model FoodSealer300S. And I've never actually used one before. Usually I just use mason jars. I'll put food in mason jars. I'll put the lid on, I'll put it in the fridge, put it in the freezer. I usually store my dried goods that way. It's just in a mason jar. Sometimes I'll use plastic bags, and they seem to work really well. But a lot of people really swear by a vacuum sealer. And I can understand how it would be really nice to know that it wasn't going to be making a mess. And it's by Avalon Bay. The same people that make the off-grid laundry machines that I like so well. I've done a lot with them. I've never actually been paid for one of their videos. The videos I make, they send me stuff, I review it. So that's what it looks like in the box. See it? I think this is the bigger one, but I'm not exactly sure. All right. So there's the bags. They're pretty thick. I think they're thicker than normal Ziplocs, and they have these little ridges on them. If you can see that. They have these ridges. One is clear, the other one is ridged. So I'm going to read the instructions. Alright, so it's on, and I don't know what that belongs to. What does that belong to? What is that? What are you? Did they have you lock it? Oh. Okay, so that sounds like it locked. Okay, I closed it. Now that the lid is unlocked, press the seal button. Okay, it says when the sealer is used for the first time, the double sealing line may not be well done. This is because the heating bar needs time to reheat. If this is the case, seal again. Okay, so I'm going to try vacuum. Okay, that was totally unnerving. Did you see it? It totally sucked it in, and now I don't know what to do. Okay. When the sealer is used for the first time, okay. Once completed, the indicator light will turn off. Okay, so the light just turned off, and this was the side that does the vacuum and the seal. This is the side that only seals if you don't want to vacuum. Press the release buttons on both sides of the machine and lift up. Okay, so what they said is the first time it gets used, the double line most likely won't work. And so what you're going to do is you're going to do it twice. So we're going to put it back in. Okay. There we go. Totally sucked up. And now we're waiting for that button to go off, which it just did. And it still didn't go all the way across. So I'm still got some spots here that did not fully seal. Okay, so we have vacuum and seal, we have speed, low and high, we have food, dry and moist, we have canister, we have pulse vac, and we have seal only. And that's all it looks like, guys. It's just not simple. Or sorry, it's just not complicated. There's the little sealing strip. And I don't think that this one came with the vacuum on the vacuum hose, so we're gonna see. Okay, so we've got our carrots, and we're going to try this again. So I'm going to give it 2 inches in, because that's what it said in the instructions, a full 2 inches. And we'll see. I'm going to switch to low speed and moist, and let's see what happens. What is in the way right here? What is that? I do not know what that is or if it's supposed to be in there. Okay. It's got all these little things. I don't know if they're just supposed to be in there. Okay, maybe it'll work better without those little things in there. Who knows? Oh. I don't know if that's the sound it's supposed to make. Okay, so I think that these things must be necessary, and I wonder if that other one that I couldn't figure out what it was is necessary too. But why wouldn't they talk about it if it was necessary? Okay, so that thing goes in there. Okay, does this thing open? There we go. There's this little rubber doohickey thingy that has to go in there, otherwise it won't work. You gotta press it in pretty good. And then you got this one, and honestly, I didn't see it say anything in the instructions about that. And as a newbie to this, as a beginner, I think you have to kind of be careful to over-explain, not under-explain, if you got all these weird things that are supposed to pop in and out. So, this thing fell out at one point. Okay, I don't know if it's supposed to be that lip that goes in first, or if it... Okay, but it looks like maybe that lip is supposed to go in there. But it fell out when I opened the box, and so I couldn't figure out what it was for. And the picture doesn't really talk about anything like that. So let's see, is there anything there that would like explain to me that those parts are included and why? Yeah, okay, so the fact that all these pictures are like black and white but not super close up or descriptive. Okay, so M is a silicone sealing ring, but it doesn't actually say, hey, this little doohickey here that just fell out of my box that was not attached to anything is that sealing ring. And then K is a sealing foam ring. So that fell out halfway through. I don't think that means that in a manufactured sense it's bad, but in a direction sense, I need to know, by the way, they look like styrofoam and there's these 2 rings that need to be in there for this to work. So let's try that again. We need 2 inches. We need 2 inches between the food and the seal. So I need to keep this flat. How am I going to keep that flat and close it at the same time? Keep it flat. Line it up. Make sure it clicks. Okay, now let's try that. Alright, so they're vacuumed and now it's going to seal. I should have used the moist setting because it is a moist food. But it's carrots. I'm just going to stick them in the fridge. So, okay, so the seal light came off. And now it's going to lift up. So yeah, once you know what all the parts are, I think, oh my goodness, it's like magic. It worked that time. So, not having those sealers in, there's 2 of them. 2 that look just like foam and 1 that is actually silicone. And then it worked like a charm. Okay, So now that I don't feel quite so stupid and quite so frustrated with this tool, what is my thought on it? I think the instructions could be a lot better. I think it was really hard to tell what pieces I would be missing or not missing. For one thing, they're black. They're black on black. And these just look like these little strips. They just look like packing strips. They don't look like they should actually belong with the product. At halfway through, I took them out because I couldn't figure out, because they popped up and they came out. And then it is a little bit tricky to see them, to put them back in. And I am having a little bit of a hard time seeing them. And I'm having a little trickiness getting them to go in and stay in. So I would say a vacuum sealer is for you if you do a lot of homemade stuff and you don't want to have glass in your freezers. And if you don't trust Ziplocs, I think you'd probably really like a vacuum sealer. I really haven't had a chance to give this a really thorough go around. And so hopefully this video will help you to figure it out faster. The thing is that with this, it's not like Ziploc where you can just do it over again unless you have the machine. So if you're taking, oh, I cannot get this thing. If you're taking food on a trip, it's not like a Ziploc where you can just close it back up again. There we go. Okay, so you saw it took me a second to get that put back together. But I think where it would really shine for a homesteader would be at butchering time, to allow you to seal things up. And I don't have anything to butcher right now, so this has to be just kind of like my preliminary thoughts on it is, I think it could be a really cool tool. I would want to make sure to keep it really clean if you are using it around butchering, and it sounds like it wants you to be really specific about what you put into it and whether you put it in the fridge or put it in the freezer or if you can store it in here. So make sure to read your instructions very carefully about what foods to use it for and what foods need to go in which category, frozen, fridge, or just shelf storage. So for me personally, I'll need to give it more of a test run, but if you were interested in seeing this, Avalon base looks like they are generally cheaper than a lot of the other manufacturers of home tools, and I really like that. I like Affordability. I've liked their other tools, and I think this is pretty cool. And I'm not suggesting that you buy it. This is just something that they send to me, and I like their products. And I don't know, I know there's a certain group of people that would make a lot of use out of this. I don't know if that would be me at this point, but it's for one thing, the bags are small enough I could not get a whole chicken in it. If I was to butcher a chicken, I would need to cut all the drumsticks up and put it in one, and then use it. And I mean, that could be pretty neat. I wonder about like bloody air that gets sucked through the vacuum. So if any of you have any thoughts about vacuum sealers, if you really like them, if you really hate them, put them in the comments below, because I am totally new to them. And make sure to go check out our other videos. We do have some butchering videos, but we took a lot of them down because people don't necessarily like to see those. But I will talk to you later.